Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, children of all ages, the Movie World proudly brings to you the movie Mount Rushmore, featuring the one AJ Anthony Jordan, the French phenom Nico Lurot, the silver screen dudes.
Oh, you didn't know? It's time to sit down and talk some movies.
Hey, screeners, how you doing? It's us, the Silver Screen Dudes. I'm the one AJ, Anthony Jordan.
And I am Nico Lurot, and it is time for the Top 10 show.
Okay, it is the Top 10 show. Streamed and downloaded to you live via iTunes or on the YouTube. Guys, if you are on YouTube, please click that link below and just download it on the iTunes as well. It's there. In that way, you can also listen to it while you're on the tube or anywhere underground where you won't get signal. So, yes, Nick, please tell us, what is this week's Top 10?
Well, this podcast is franchising out, and look at that tangent. We are talking about the top 10 blockbuster franchises of all time.
Okay.
Now, this was a tough one. Well, not anywhere near as tough as last week. I mean, this actually was kind of easy. I think it was much more a case of ordering them correctly, because we're in an age of, we mentioned Sequel City a few days ago.
Yeah.
We're literally in an age of...
Sequels have sequels. And
sequels have sequels.
The sequels have sequels.
We've gone from Sequel City to franchise fever.
Yeah.
Literally. I mean, so many franchises are on the horizon now. You got the DC Cinematic Universe, playing catch up with Marvel. But anyway.
I just want to say something, just to any DC fans out there, or Marvel fans out there who are like, yeah, you guys are catch up.
Present.
DC, listen, I'm a comic book fan, that's the way I go. DC were on track to do it, they just dropped the ball immensely. And I would like to also state, DC,
that was a ball to drop.
It was, but they did kick it off better than anyone else in the animated universe. I would like to put that out there. So DC have known to do their universe. Yeah.
Well, you got the DC universe. You've got the Universal Monster franchise now.
Yes.
Which came out of nowhere. It's like, oh, let's remake Godzilla. Oh, that was successful. Let's throw King Kong in there. Let's do Godzilla versus King Kong.
And then the Mummy coming back.
That's the monster. So there's two monsters you've got. There you go. We didn't even notice that. You got the Dracula, Mummy, Frankenstein universe. You've got, The Rock's just been given a universe.
Yeah, wow.
For those of you who don't know yet, Robert Ludlum, the author who wrote all of the Bourne movies, another franchise which is getting a part 4. But that same author who's now giving the copyright to his books to be made into films, and The Rock's been greenlit it for like 5 movies.
Straight away.
I get that The Rock's a national treasure, but this is a little bit far.
We might see The Rock in National Treasure. Haha.
But then there's also so many franchises being picked up again after so long. Ones which are franchises in the past which didn't make my list. But the Bourne franchise, like I just said, is being remade.
Didn't make my list.
Pirates of the Caribbean, that's getting a part 4 any minute. Did that make your list?
No. I'm just thinking, are we at part 4 or 5?
No, we're about to get part 5.
Yeah, it's part 5, isn't it?
Part 5, you're right. Jurassic World.
Yes, that was a pleasant comeback. It's not best reviewed by everyone. I know I loved it. It was a good film, really good.
It was really good, and they've greenlit another 2.
Worthy.
Mad Max.
Yes,
that's another one that's come back.
The
franchises are coming out left, right, and centre here, man. And let's obviously not forget a little franchise called Star Wars.
Well, of course. And then
what up, Star Wars reference?
As he does every week, folks. As he has done every week. You should have seen it in the build-up to The Force Awakens. Wow, was he awakening it? But hey, that's just
I awoke the Force before it awoke the world, boy.
Indeed, he did. He did.
But we're talking top 10 franchises here, right? And normally, we do this all based on preference. Comedies, what did you like, what did I... There's obviously a certain amount of objectivity to it, but we pretty much do what we like.
Yeah.
And if you disagree, that's fine. The world keeps spinning and suck a dick. That's fine. Hopefully you agree with us. But the fact of the matter is that we're doing this one because it's a tricky one. Because there's universally agreed which the sort of top 10, 15 are. There's not so many franchises currently in existence which are even worthy of making a top 10. So it's a select few. So it's more about ordering it. So the way we're ordering this one...
Did you not... I found a lot more than I remembered. Put it that way.
Definitely. You mentioned Terminator.
Yeah.
Which I didn't even remember, to be honest.
Because after part 2, there was nothing worth mentioning.
Precise. Well, you say that, but one of the franchises that did make my list has got 2 movies that are so good and 2 that are so bad, but We'll get there.
Okay.
We'll get there. But basically, guys, we're doing this top 10 based on technical and artistic merit. Remember this criteria. We'll come back to it throughout the top 10, but we're doing technical and artistic merit. We're doing franchise earnings. And no, this is not Nico's excuse to make Star Wars number one. Spoiler alert, that's not my number one. How consistently good they are. There you go. Star Wars isn't number one. And above all, achievements. This could be how much it's affected the zeitgeist. Yeah, okay, fine. Star Wars does have an impact in that. The Oscar winnings, again, going back to the box office earnings, how popularized it's become. I'll give you an example. Avatar, becoming a franchise, highest grossing movie of all time, hasn't really permeated the zeitgeist, has it? Like, look around Halloween. 1 or 2 years after Avatar, everyone was dressed up as one of those blue Na'vi. Now? Nah.
Yeah, I'll give you that. Yeah, it came, yeah. It's weird though. True. Yeah, it did fade.
It didn't really affect pop culture. I mean, it was world renowned, but it hasn't stayed with us. I mean, look at it now. People are talking about Avatar 2, 3, and 4, and they're like, do we want them? Me, I'm like, hell yeah, but...
Bring it. It's an interesting one. There are many franchises. There are many different ways to respect them as well. Again, looking at franchises which probably didn't reach Blockbuster, and I'm sure it's not on your list. And it was one of the first franchises that came to my mind because I was like, how many were there?
Yeah.
Police Academy.
There's another one. I didn't even think of that.
Yeah, that's a big franchise that was out there.
I got one animation franchise. We'll get onto the list. I've got one animation franchise that made my list.
I've got one too.
Yeah, I think I know what yours is.
We might be on the same boat.
But I mean, just before we get into it, while talking about franchises, can we address this X-Men hatred that's going on?
Do you know what? I think I was going to talk to you about this off camera. First of all, guys, it doesn't suck. It doesn't suck.
It does not suck.
I've got a brother who actually refused to watch it based on Days of Future Past. I think Nick was in a similar vein, but by trailer time, you were quite pumped for it.
The last trailer got me, yeah.
My brother, I dragged him in and he loved it. I'm actually going to call a quick guess, quickly. Right, okay, ladies and gentlemen, you're going to recognise a young voice here. Don't worry, it's still R-rated. Zany, what did you think? This is my young nephew. Tell them what you thought of X-Men.
10 out of 10.
Wow. What? Okay, right. Nick, give us a bit more. I don't know if I would have gone 10, but thank you.
Fair play. If it gave someone that much happiness, that's awesome.
Well,
that's
there you go.
That
That proves it doesn't suck.
Yeah, pretty much.
I'm gonna put a question out there to you.
Yeah.
Right. And this one, I can sense the hate coming towards me, and don't think I hate this guy. Do you believe?
Hate this guy?
Hate this guy.
Oh, hate this guy. Okay.
The better X-Men movies did not have a heavy prominence of Wolverine.
Yeah, I mean, I would agree.
Yeah,
I would definitely agree. My
Hugh
favourite
Jackman.
of all the X-Men was First Class.
Same here. The more I think of it, yeah, First Class is my favourite.
To be fair, Wolverine had a great line in that.
He had a great line, but it's the prominence of it. We all laughed at it. It was like, wow, Wolverine's it. Oh my god, wow, yeah. But where he's heavily featured, they were good. I'm a guy who's not hated any X-Men movie.
There's a Future Past.
I don't hate it.
Fucking hate that movie.
I've seen weakness, but I don't hate it.
Fuck, I hate that movie, and it's because of Wolverine, not because of No, slow down before the comment section blasts open. Yeah, it's not because of any hating on Hugh Jackman. It's because of the fact that what was his point in that movie? Like, break it down for me. He served no purpose in that movie,
apart from being the Link, the only one who could.
The Link, but then ultimately does nothing.
That, yeah.
Nothing.
No, fair enough. I agree with you. It's one of those like Indiana Jones.
That movie was worth seeing for the Quicksilver scene, but beyond that, nah, not interested.
Okay, don't want to go off too far, but it was good. But going back to X-Men Apocalypse, I don't want to go into spoiler territory. I don't want to go into spoiler territory, but it's very good. As I suppose as you said into your review, we could have seen more from Apocalypse. Put it that way. That's all I will say.
He was underpowered, no doubt. Listen. Spoiler for the review, I gave it a 7.5 out of 10, and I'm very clear why. It is a slow burn. It's not the bombastic, non-stop action of, say, an Avengers or Captain America Civil War Marvel movie. It's not the kind of pointless slow burn of a Batman v Superman. Yeah, I said it, but each character got their time. They were so well developed. One of the best scenes was actually nothing to do with superpowers. It was Magneto in the forest. God, that was a good scene.
I'm not going to go any further. Yes, that's all I'm going to say.
But how good was that scene?
It caught me. It was. Yeah, it was. It's the sort of reaction you want when making a film. That's what I'll give it. Yeah. Another thing I'm going to get onto recently, just the personal grievance I have, and some of you may feel this. the comic book movies are going way past the 2-hour mark now. I don't know how serious they're trying to get now. But, I'm sensing we might get a 3-hour comic book movie short of what.
Oh, it's coming.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
Yeah,
no, guys, check it out.
Deadpool showed you don't need to do that.
Yeah, exactly. You don't. I think an hour and a half, hour 45.
It becomes visual noise at the end. I mean, this was the issue I had with Civil War. Yes, I gave X-Men a higher score than Civil War. Whatever. I preferred it. It's life. It's sue me. The world, as I say, it's going to become my new catchphrase. The world keeps spinning. But it just became visual noise at the end. It's like, fight. We don't like each other. We disagree. I get the point. There's not enough conflict here. You ultimately know that there's no stakes here and that they're all going to get along because Infinity War's around the corner.
Yeah.
So I was looking at this going, the stakes aren't there. The stakes are not high here.
No. Okay, no, agreed. Okay, so
how does the top 10 work?
Yes, okay guys, the top 10, how can I explain this? Right, these are based on preference and a bit of statistics in this. We had to be, as I said, like Police Academy will not make the top 10, it didn't gross enough, it didn't win anything, it's just slapstick comedy that was out there. How we're going to go with the top 10 is, one of us will kick off with our bottom 4, so that's from 10 down to 6. Then the other person will deliver their 10 till 6. From there we will then deliver...
Our following 4?
Yep, following 4.
My 4, your 4. Then we'll go 1 apiece, trading our top 2 together, and then we will combine our lists, making the movie Mount Rushmore, which is the 4, in this case, franchises that we think are worthy of being the top 4 franchises and that we recommend every single movie fan sees, as well as agreeing, and I'm sure you're going to disagree with us a lot, use this, for those of you who have a bit of humility, at least more than you and me, and who claim to not have the world's greatest movie knowledge, but want to expand it, this podcast is for you. You may hear some movies that you've not seen before, or you may hear us rate some movies very highly that you've heard from others are not good. Make your own opinion. Go and see them. Take the advice of the Silver Screen Dudes and go and watch some movies.
Yeah, one of my taglines isn't about the world spinning and what you should do with the 2 words, but it's more of if you don't know, get to know. That's the one. So this is what we're about. It's all about, had you not seen it, again, even a chance to revisit some stuff that you may not have appreciated or overappreciated.
We need to get some t-shirts with those slogans,
You know that. I think that at the back of the Silver Screen t-shirts, if you don't know, get... Oh, anyway, moving on.
If you don't know, get to know, and on the back of mine, you disagree, don't matter, world keeps spinning.
Followed by, we got 2 words for you. Anyway, okay, guys. Yeah, then another point we want to mention. Say, for instance, if I was to have taken a film...
yes, the punting.
Yes, if I was to take a film and it was my number 8, and for some reason Nick thought that should be at number 2, we will then punt. I am not allowed to. I will mention the film, but we will punt, and it will come back down at the lower point, which is Nick's number 2. And higher point, yes. And that's where we will discuss the said franchise, not said movie. Nearly said that. Okay, so without further ado, let's kick off.
Ladies and gentlemen, movie fans from around the world, it is officially time to begin the Top 10 show.
Let's get ready to count down
and talk some movies.
That's the one. Okay, would you like to go first, sir?
Yeah, I'll kick it off this week. Sure. I've actually got quite a few comic book ones in my list, believe it or not.
I wanted to. I was so determined to, and
there was quite a few. One, because obviously, remember that one of the criteria we're basing all this on is, other than how consistently good they are, is their artistic merit. A lot of these movies have done really good artistic adaptations.
Do you know what? This is the thing. Comic books are so artistic, and the adapting of it has been amazing. And guys, don't shoot me. Do you know what? This week I wanted to avoid being the comic book nerd that I always do. I'm always bringing out like 5 comic book movies, call it 6. I think I even done it, every time.
Sometimes you overdo it.
Yeah, so I'm like, what? I'm gonna be objective in this. I'm gonna try and reduce it, and I think I've taken it down to 2.
I got my 3 in there, and we'll kick off with my number 10. Tell me if we need to punt, but I've put the Spider-Man franchise.
No. It's a difficult one.
I thought, as adaptations, we look back now and we've got issues with Tobey Maguire, we've got issues with the first movie. That's you and me. You look at that, I remember when I watched that Spider-Man movie, right? I even remember in what format we watched it. Burnt to us on an illegal VHS. I'm not going to name drop and say who did it, but fun times when we were 15. It was about then, wasn't it? Yeah, I loved it. It was amazing. I was watching Spider-Man on screen and it looked like the real deal. The second one is a work of art. The second one is a freaking work of art. The third one, I'd rather forget. fucking emo Spider-Man and Venom, the thing, the sludge. That wasn't Venom.
Guys,
But it's not just the trilogy. I'm also talking the Andrew Garfield. That first Amazing Spider-Man movie was awesome. My second favorite of all the Spider-Man movies. The last one, okay, so people who know I didn't like this movie are going to call me a hypocrite now. Looking at it objectively, was it a bad movie? No!
It wasn't.
Was it what I wanted? No.
Right. No, I hear you. I can agree with you. I will agree with you. They were really well, and I suppose in that as well comes the fact that Spidey Homecoming is coming. So
yes.
there's a lot in... Spider-Man has done a lot. Tobey Maguire, and you know,
Is your issue our issue?
Yeah, nothing against him as an actor. Just doesn't do the kind of films I'm into. But it just didn't deliver.
Great Gatsby.
I didn't say every film he's done is bad. I mean, Spider-Man 2 is another situation where he's delivered. He can deliver. It's just not every film he's done is for me. And his portrayal of Spider-Man wasn't for me. And with that...
No,
I
Andrew
enjoyed it.
Garfield was Spider-Man.
Yeah.
What,
until
Tom Holland is Spider-Man.
Until Tom
Holland is, in that small scene in Civil War, he owns Spider-Man.
Yeah.
That is Spider-Man.
Yeah, the sarcasm is defined. That's perfect Spidey. Well done to the Marvel Cinematic Universe, hence for creating that.
Oh, Kevin Feige, our Lord and Saviour.
Indeed.
But let's not digress too much. Spider-Man's my number 10, we don't need to dwell on it. Number 9 is an action franchise.
Shoot. I don't think I actually went too deep. I think a lot of them...
Mission Impossible.
So it nearly made the list.
Remember we're ranking how consistently good these movies are.
Yeah.
I personally like number 2. I know I'm going to get hate for
I
that.
was going to say 2 is my favourite. 2 was my favourite.
Oh, I wouldn't go that far. But they're all good. There's like not a bad Mission Impossible movie. So if we're talking about the criteria of how consistently good they are,
Granted.
that has to be on the list.
Granted. I will give you that.
You take the star power of Tom Cruise, this dude's a fucking psycho. What is wrong with him?
The stunts are...
Like, Tom, there's a thing called drugs. You can get your adrenaline kicks that way. What the hell, dude? I'm not advocating anyone take drugs, but I'm also not advocating anyone run down the tallest building in the world.
He's a professional. He's a professional.
Actor, not a professional stuntman.
He's a professional. If you want to see it, see it. With Tom, you can put the camera wherever you want because it's him. There's no stuntman. It's Mr. Cruise.
Jesus. And the guy can run.
Yeah, he can run.
Have you noticed actually that's one thing that all directors who work with him love? Tom Cruise running. Tom Cruise was clearly a good runner in high school.
Yeah.
You take the star power, the larger than life stunts, and a few unforgettable set pieces. I still say to this day my favourite of all the set pieces was that scene in Mission Impossible 1.
Oh yeah.
The room not touching the floor and all. Oh God, that was awesome.
Yeah, nothing has been more of a cliffhanger.
And you want to talk about franchise music?
Whoa!
There's only one franchise I've got on my list that tops this. In music-wise. We'll get there.
Yeah.
And it's not Star Wars.
No, I think I know the other one. Yeah, I know the other one. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, for sure.
That was my number 9. My number 8 has to be on your list. And you're probably going to have it a lot higher than me.
Shoot.
Indiana Jones. Must be on your list.
No, it's actually on my honorables.
Indy didn't make your list.
How many of them did you enjoy?
Me personally. Alright, let me break it down. And let me put it, when I was growing up, all 3 of the original trilogy. And there's people, remember, one of the things that we are citing on this list is nostalgia.
Listen,
I went over this. Call
it.
this on nostalgia.
I'm not knocking it.
When I was watching it when I was young, I loved all 3. Did I like Kingdom of the Crystal Skull? Hell to the nizzo. Right? Which one is my favourite? It's not Raiders of the Lost Ark. Thank you fucking Big Bang for ruining that movie for me. I'm not even fronting.
No. Last Crusade, even prior to Big Bang ruining it, I'm guessing Last Crusade was your favourite.
Yes.
Right, okay.
Yes, but I mean now when you ask me how many of them do I like, I've got difficulty with Raiders of the Lost Ark. The Big Bang Theory really ruined that movie for
fair
me.
enough.
And Temple of Doom, I'm sorry, say what you will, it's not a good movie. It's so cheesy.
Do you know what? Listen, that one was actually on my list until I remembered something else, and I had to respect
monkey
that.
brains.
I had to respect it, and if you've ever seen any of our Versus shows, I was Team Indie. That was the way I went. Actually, that was my first victory.
Solo.
But We're talking consistently good, and what I had to look at is stuff that have gone on. Indiana Jones is an iconic name.
Yeah, and we're also talking merit, you know.
Yeah, this is it.
Artistic merit,
it's got artistic merit for sure. Visually, it's perfect, but it just fell off the list. It had to just fall off the list for me.
I'm surprised it didn't make your list.
It was very close to. I'm actually gutted it wasn't, but when I look at this list, I can't actually take anything off.
I mean, for me,
I actually prefer Indiana Jones to some films, but I respect them for the franchise that they are, and hence Indy fell off.
I mean, it ticks a lot of the boxes. Technical and artistic, definitely. Franchise earnings, well, it's all relative, isn't it? It came out in the 80s before the world boomed and started making billion-dollar movies, right? How consistently good they are? Yeah.
There you are.
Achievements? Well, zeitgeist, you know, pop culture-wise, hugely.
Yeah.
Nostalgia, coolness, absolutely.
For sure. And it's got a theme. The theme song is recognizable.
Da, 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 da. Yeah, it's very recognizable. But my number 7. I'm Batman. Batman is my number 7. I thought we'd punt.
Being the bat freak that I am. Yeah, that's on punt. That's in the world of punting.
Over to you, Robin.
Ooh, he thinks he's funny.
He knows he's funny.
9, 8, 7. Okay, yes, that is your 4. Right, okay.
That's why you're Robin.
Some would expect him to say quick thinking Batman or good thinking Batman. It will never happen because I am forever Master Bruce when it comes to this. Okay.
Robin, you're number 10.
I feel like calling my nephew to say, Uncle Anthony, it's your turn, but we're not going to go down that road. I'm not going to be that petty.
Right.
Number 10. This is, funny enough, I showed the first DVD to my nephew and he's like, this is boring. By the time the film had finished, he wanted to see the next 2. This, to me, is my symbolism of the 80s.
Back to the Future.
Indeed it is. Back to the Future. Back to the Future. Now, if we're talking artistic, that would... Back to the Future Part 2, without a hesitation.
Fuck, how did I forget that?
That was a film that showed us, okay, 2015 has come and gone and we don't look anything like that, right?
If only
we don't look anything like that.
Well, we got hoverboards now, but the fucking things don't hover.
Exactly.
Those are wheels, that doesn't hover.
Yeah, stop calling it hoverboards, people. But that was the franchise for me. If you're going to talk nostalgia, for me to look back at the 80s, Michael J. Fox is the 80s to me, and Back to the Future is that movie for me. Without any argument, that was the one. And the fact that I could show a soon-to-be 9-year-old Back to the Future and he wanted to see it again. They were consistently good. They stopped at number 3. It couldn't have gone for... It was the weakest and they knew to stop, right? There were some franchises that didn't...
You know, I only saw Back to the Future recently.
Yes.
Much to my great shame. Yes,
It happens.
We have encyclopedic knowledge, but
I'm gonna come up with a confession that's worse a bit later on.
Oh, I know the one.
Oh yeah.
I know the one.
Oh yeah.
But look, I only saw Back to the Future this last year. Now, I loved number 1. Loved number 1. 2, it was clever, but it didn't. I don't know why, it just didn't capture me the same way as number 1.
Keep saying.
And I was speaking to people at work about this today when I confessed this, and they were like, well, have you seen number 3? I'm like, not yet. People have said that I only need to see 1 and 2, 3 is not great. But then they were at work at telling me, 3 is better than 2. So over to you.
Okay.
Is it not?
3 goes Western, right? There was a purpose behind number 1. He went back for a reason. Number 2, he goes to the future to save his kids. And with the word future, you needed to see the future, no matter which way you play it. And it's that. Number 3 is a Western.
Yeah.
Right? And there were certain bits.
Why did they go that route?
It's where Doc wanted to go. Doc ended up he went back to the Wild West. That's where he chose to go with the time machine from number 3.
Surely it would have been more fun if they'd done like a Doctor Who thing.
Yeah.
Dancing across different times.
This is it, and there are purposes behind it, and you could you're always gonna get a Clint Eastwood. Anytime you're gonna go Wild West, you're gonna get a Clint Eastwood reference. Yeah. So there's stuff like that, and I think there's certain bits of there, but it just put it this way: if you ever watch them now and you watch one after the other, which I've done a Back to the Future marathon. It's like, it's played out, it's done. There's no real purpose, there's nothing to it. The future, you could place bets, by the sports almanac, you go back to the past, you place bets.
Sports almanac.
None of us have enough of the Western in us. There's not enough knowledge. You can't relate. It's too far back. You just relate it to Westerns. You know? So what are we relating to? The 50s, you're like, okay, right, his
also
parents...
alienates a lot of people, because if you're not from the States and you don't know what the Wild West is, that's going to alienate you completely. And despite the fact that I do love some Westerns.
No, listen, you can love Westerns, but there's not enough relatability. This one, it's like, oh my God, you've gone back to your parents' time, then you've gone to save your kids.
Yeah. It's a family story.
Yeah, the other one is it's just a movie for being a movie's sake.
Yeah.
And the relatability is not there, and nothing beat. We've seen a million Westerns, but a guy going into the future, meeting his future self, it never happened.
Also seen a million ways to die in the West.
Yeah, there you go. So yeah, that's why Back to the Future. It had to make my list.
Fair play.
Not enough to go in.
I completely forgot about it.
Big franchise zones, but that's the one it is. Right, number 9. I've got a feeling you're gonna. I've got a feeling we're in punt zone already.
Be careful, AJ.
No. I know certain fans are gonna want to kill me for this.
Where are you at?
We're off to Hogwarts.
Yeah, we can punt.
Okay,
we can punt. I'm not gonna kill you that much. I love my Potter. Don't get me wrong, but it's deserving to be there, no doubt. But we'll punt.
This one is based on preference. People, do not kill me. Please do not kill me.
We'll get to it.
This one, no. This one
number
is
8.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Number 8.
AJ.
I know we're punting. I guarantee you we're punting.
It better not be what I think it is. It is, isn't it? Oh.
You just pressed it. The last digit that you just pressed.
Go on.
Mr. Bond.
James Bond.
007.
Yeah, we're punting like a motherfucker.
Yeah, alright. I'll come back to it when it comes. And you want my number 7?
Yeah, we're punting like a motherfucker on that.
I know my assistant's going to come and... He's going to give you guys a hint. He's going to give you a hint on this one. Say a line from those movies.
Which movie?
Number 7. Give him a hint.
Buzz Lightyear.
Okay, I was looking more for To Infinity and Beyond, but that
you get one try, kid. Sit down.
Okay, all right. Yes. Are we punting?
Is it your number 7?
Yeah.
It's my number 6.
Okay, right. The story of Buzz, Woody, and the rest of the toy world.
The story about getting old.
Yeah.
At its core.
That's it. It's the perfect journey. We've been through this. If you followed us on Podcast Zones.
Of all the films, of all of the franchises that I've got on my list, just going based off not only my opinion but off of Rotten Tomatoes reviews, no franchise has got consistently such highly rated movies as Toy Story.
There isn't a bad Toy Story movie.
No.
There isn't. There isn't.
You know, law of diminishing returns. The more movies you make, the more likely you are to have one that doesn't work.
Yeah.
We've only had 3, but they've all rated over 90%.
With a potential 4th on... Well, with a 4th on the way.
No, there is a 4th.
Yeah.
Which, silly, but anyway, I'm sure I'll love it. But at the moment, I just don't like the idea of it. But yeah, Toy Story, my God, these movies are good.
Do you know what it is?
Change the fucking world.
We can... Alright, I'm just going to bring the idea of, let's say, small soldiers, right? Yeah, the idea of toys coming to life. That came... And there wasn't a Small Soldiers 2 because it just didn't deliver enough. It was a good film, don't get me wrong, but it didn't deliver enough. Toy Story gave this thing of toys coming to life and building an entire world in that concept. It is... The idea of a toy knowing he's a toy and another toy not knowing he's a toy and coming to that realization, and then the journey of the relationship that we have with our toys growing up. Newer generations, you guys are on iPads
and
a lot.
losing our toys when we get
you know,
old.
new generation, you guys have like iPads and tablets and PlayStations.
Young kids these days, they don't know.
Yeah, but the appreciation you had, you just offended someone to such a degree in this room. Do you want to defend yourself or should I keep talking?
Keep talking.
Right, I'm going to keep talking. Right, the appreciation we had with toys back then, the relationship we had, it was so... I don't know how adults could have explained it as much as they... You know, they really must have gone down the road of nostalgia.
Yeah.
And I think that... I saw Toy Story 1, I think, this year. And I had that feeling of, that's how it felt to have your toys.
Yeah.
And it's never aged. The films haven't aged.
You didn't need toy franchises. You didn't need to have multiple toys of the same collection. You'd do stories like Andy did.
Yeah, exactly.
It was awesome.
Exactly. You know, you didn't need the entire Batman squad. Batman, Joker, no. I could have He-Man, Batman, and Superman, and I could still create something. You know?
On a side note, to parents... Sorry, I'm going to get lynched for saying this.
Go.
To parents who bought the action figures in the late 80s and early 90s, He-Man and Lion-O.
I had He-Man. I didn't have...
That's right, sir. your homosexual son is on you.
Ooh.
You buy your fucking child homoerotic toys like that? That's on you, mate. That is on you.
Another countdown that I would like you to
Take this,
check.
man. No, you take that, Lion-O. Oh, no. I broke my fist on your tight abs. Yeah, your homosexual son is on you.
Guys, please check out our countdown of films that challenge sexual diversity. We have no problems with.
No, I'm just saying.
Yeah.
I'm not saying it's a problem. I'm just saying I'm addressing the father who may think it's a problem, wondering how did this happen? It's like, it's on you, mate.
I wonder what you have to say about Dolph Lundgren, who played He-Man. Did he play He-Man?
No, I'm talking about the action.
I know, but hey, He-Man. Yeah. Anyway,
Did he play He-Man? Did he play He-Man? Did he play anything? He couldn't speak English.
Touche. Okay, right. Where are we now? That was my number 7, your number 6. So then,
Toy Story, that was
Yeah.
my number 6. My number 5 is Harry Potter.
okay, well, not too bad then. These are friendly. You know where I put Toy Story above Harry Potter? Harry Potter was based off of a book. It's created perfectly. Toy Story was a franchise built in the film world.
Yeah, that doesn't mean it deserves to be higher.
No. Listen, I have lower, which is based off of a book. Trust me.
You mean higher?
Yeah, not as high as you've got it. Actually, I know you're gonna.
Spoiler, motherfucker.
I'm just guessing. I know how passionate you are about certain bits. Harry Potter was good. It was fantastic. It built a franchise. It pop culture wise will forever be there. You know, I know.
Let me say this: the same way that I grew up loving Star Wars, followed by Lord of the Rings, the same way Harry Potter was like
It was childhood franchise. That was childhood
we
franchise.
weren't quite that childhood. We were like one generation above it.
Yeah.
We still enjoyed it, and
Yeah.
it still permeated through our culture too. But you know, they got Harry Potter land now. There were 8. What was it? It was 7 movies. It was 7 movies.
No, is it 7 books?
7
8?
books, 8 movies. That's the one.
Yeah.
And you know, people will say that none of them were bad. I mean, allow me to disagree. I thought the second one was bad. The second one I didn't like. Generally, though, despite the fact that fucking Daniel Radcliffe cannot act, yes, he looked like Harry Potter. He fitted the role well. He can't act. And I want to throw this out there because there's still so many people who don't know this. Do you guys know how he got the role? Watch these movies again. Pick any Harry Potter. Go start with the first one. Check out who the casting director is. It's Daniel Radcliffe's father. Nepotism much? I'm not even lying. You can check this now.
What I was going to say, which was something else, I'm not going to.
Hey, I'm a casting director. I'm going to make my son a billionaire.
Hey, good on you. What I was going to say was, the books came out just before.
No, they were out a long time
No,
before.
what I'm saying is the ones I got, right? Were
When
just
you
before
read them, you mean?
The picture that you had on the cover.
Who did look like him?
But is this because we knew who was going to be Harry? Like the
I
film.
don't think so.
Okay, all right. He does look. There was no other. But it's a difficult one. To me, I wonder. But yeah,
It's a multi-million-dollar franchise. It's brilliantly adapted. It's got a stellar cast of actors.
The casting is amazing. The casting is amazing. I think for us, the silver screen dudes, as you mentioned, it was a timing thing. We were just a generation above. I think the generation after will still be disconnected. It's a timing issue.
Yeah.
You know, like American Pie will forever. I don't know if that's in your list.
American Pie, no, I didn't make
No, I
it.
didn't make mine. But you know, franchises. It's timely and just was slightly off-timed for us. So yes.
Yeah, definitely. But yeah, that was what was that? My number 5. My number 4. You're going to be surprised it's so low.
Go.
A long time ago in a galaxy far, far away, the world gave us the best fucking franchise ever. Well,
do you know what?
I'm kidding. It's not
know
my
what?
number 1, it's my number 4. Star Wars.
It's my number 3. So,
Oh, you put it that high, huh?
yeah, it's surprising, isn't it?
Let's talk it.
Okay, yeah, we'll come back to
No
my
point
6,
punting
yeah.
on the one spot.
Yeah.
Look, the original 3 movies basically created this semblance of Hollywood magic.
Right, can I just go in there? I just want to give you a bit of defense. Where Nick had mentioned he had the pothole of Back to the Future. 2015 was when I watched every Star Wars movie. Okay, moving on.
For the first time.
For the first time. Yeah, move on. Continue.
Say it again. 2015.
Yes.
Because homie here, not you, me, came back from Thailand. I'm not sure if it was on the agenda already, but I told you, Force Awakens is going to be one of the biggest blockbuster movies of all time. This is just before we started the Silver Screen Dudes. And I told you, I refuse to be on a movie channel with someone who will not be part of that movie.
All right.
You remember this?
I remember all of it. I'm a person, I need to get this out there. I'm a person who I wouldn't have seen Force Awakens based on the fact I hadn't seen Star Wars 1. I needed to see it. And I wanted to see what Force Awakens had to deliver. So it would have come. But I give you credit that it got pushed faster than it needed to. Than it probably would have happened.
Put it this way, I think you would have eventually seen The Force Awakens, but you probably wouldn't have seen it at the cinema. Honestly, I don't think you would have.
Yeah, I could probably agree with that. But thanks to Cineworld, yes, I did. Okay. Just had to throw that in there as well. Right.
What more can you say? If you want to talk about coolness, if you want to talk about nostalgia, if you want to talk about box office earnings, if you want to talk about how much it's affected pop culture, no movie is bigger than Star Wars.
This is why it had to become number 3. Listen, let this be said, and I know I will look like Will Wheaton in the last episode of Big Bang I saw. I am from the House of Trek. Okay, that's the way it goes. We can have that. It's an honourable on mine. I know it definitely didn't make your list, so yes, that was an honourable franchise on my list. Star Wars, I like. Force Awakens stands out as my favourite.
It's my second favourite.
Right, it's my favourite. I think partially because I didn't know what was coming. I had the element of surprise, whereas I knew what happened. I saw the prequels as they came out.
Bad move.
And that was unlucky.
And
Star
again, we go
Wars,
back into this franchise ranking and talking
yeah.
about how consistently good they are. Ooh.
But you know
some
what?
bad ones in there.
As bad as it was, Jar Jar Binks' name will still stick out. Darth Maul will still stick out.
Oh, I'm not knocking the first one. I've said on multiple occasions, I actually not only find redeeming qualities of The Phantom Menace, borderline like it. I know people say the Revenge of the Sith is the good one between the original bit of the prequels. I disagree. I actually think The Phantom Menace was the best of the prequels.
Revenge of the Sith, I will give it the credit, for the fact that I saw Yoda for the Jedi that he's meant to be.
Yeah.
Listen, guys, this is from someone who's seen it in a different order to you guys. Wrong timings. I know some of you have watched it after me and still love it, right? Return of the Jedi.
Cheese.
That is not how you're meant to learn about... No. Yoda was displayed in Revenge of the Sith. Now I'm seeing a real... Yeah, that's the guy. That's the kick-ass machine. This is why we respect him. This is why he's on the High Council of the Jedi.
Yeah.
Right? That was the movie that permitted it. Anything else to see of what is Jedi Force, I'm sorry, Star Wars was not the one to display it.
Until The Force Awakens came along.
There we are.
Shoot me with a gun.
Yeah.
And that was the opening
scene.
That
was my scene. I was like, this film is serious. Right? This is what I have to say to you guys. I respect lightsabers. I respect Darth Vader. I respect that name Luke Skywalker. Not as much as Darth Vader because it's travelled, but it hasn't travelled as much.
Of course.
Right? And with that is why I had to put it at number 3. You have to respect the power of a lightsaber. Luke, I am your father. All of that. You can't put it anything short of your top 5. Irrelevant of what your personal perception.
No, it's definitely in the top 5.
Irrelevant of your personal perception of the movie, it is a top 5 contender. Your number 4, my number 3, and you love it more than me.
I love it more than you, but I really have to look at things as a franchise, right? And that brings me on to my number 3, and I'm sure this is going to be in your top 5. But it is basically the franchise that didn't change... Well, it did change cinema, actually. Not the way that Star Wars changed cinema in the world, but it changed cinema in the way that movies are made and the way franchises are made. I'm giving it... It's your number 2?
I'm sure it's my number 2.
MCU.
Oh, no. I take
Marvel
it back.
Cinematic Universe.
No.
Are we punting?
We are.
Okay, let's punt. So that was my number 3. Over to your number 6.
Right. Number 6. Okay, this one, I'm guessing, didn't make your list, but I will give it the range, and... It's funny because I'm not a bigger fan of the later series, but I give it the credit for the franchise that it is. It's a monster at the moment. Fast and Furious.
Yeah, fair
Fast
enough.
and Furious.
I didn't even think of Fast and Furious. Yeah,
it's a monster. I prefer the earlier ones. I know you prefer the later ones.
I prefer the 5th was my favourite.
Right.
5th in Brazil I thought was amazing.
To me, it was good. It was nice to see a lot of the cast are back, they're going out there. It became too CG for me. It didn't...
It got silly.
it got silly. And
but it was meant to be silly.
It depends the way you want to take it. Yeah, number 1, you can't take it too seriously. Right, because then you're an idiot for taking it too seriously.
Yes.
No offense to anyone, I'll give you credit where credit's due. If you're going to talk cars, let's talk Gone in 60 Seconds.
Yeah.
I would prefer to go Fast and Furious 2 over 1 if we're going to talk cars again as well.
Yes, definitely.
Yeah, that's the angle I'm going for. But Fast and Furious is a monster. Irrelevant of your preference, Tokyo Drift was... I kind of gave up after Tokyo Drift, and then I came back to them recently this year. I just banged them all out from Tokyo Drift onwards. They've created a franchise that's a monster. We've got another one coming out.
Yeah.
Post Paul Walker, which many people thought wouldn't happen.
Oh, Vin Diesel made it happen.
Oh yeah. The whole cast. They're called the Fast Family. There is no, if you follow enough of them on social networks, they are the Fast Family, and they're there. And even the fact that Tokyo Drift was able to get intertwined into the story.
From Creed directing number 8.
It's something mad in the fact that it was about the cars. The cars are still there, and in the most ridiculous way, the car is still linked to it. That the name Fast and Furious is still there.
Yeah, but it's evolved with the times, hasn't it? It
was very Pimp My Ride time.
It was very Pimp My Ride and Need for Speed Underground time, right? It's evolved. It's become about the big bombastic set pieces, which is what the 21st century cinema is all about. It's all about the set piece, isn't it? Okay, so what can we do? Let's jump from one building to another in a car.
Yeah, exactly. It's now become anything you want to do.
I mean, that was
everything you've done in an action movie with an action star. Now let's do it with the car.
But it's a popcorn franchise.
Of course. But hey,
and there's nothing wrong with that.
It's going to do box office hits again.
But yeah, you want to talk earnings? It did it. You want to talk coolness? Definitely. I wouldn't give it nostalgia. Artistic merit? To a degree. There's art. I'm not even going to get into defining now what art is. It's a completely subjective thing, as well as having elements of objectivity to it. Let's not even go there, all right? Art is just how something makes you feel. Now, The Fast and the Furious, when I watch them, makes me feel excited and I enjoy myself. Ergo, it's art to me.
There you go. Funny enough, it's the one film though where The Rock ran me up that time. Guys, if you haven't seen it, he's in his hospital bed. It's time to go to work, and he flexes a muscle and breaks every cast. It's like, come on, Dwayne, come on. But no, Rock, you're still my number one guy. Belated happy birthday to you. Download the podcast because I said that. But yeah, no, it's good stuff.
You need to fucking tweet him, man.
We will. Hey,
you need to at The Rock.
He's been tweeted enough, but yes, he will get it again.
You need to at The Rock and say we wished you a happy birthday. Download our podcast.
That's the one.
We're getting a bit of traffic because of this X-Men apocalypse review. Let's get The Rock involved.
Exactly. Rocky,
the People's Podcast.
I also have the Rock clock while we're at it. It wakes me up every morning, dude. Thank you very much for that. Okay.
You have the Rock clock? I'm not bad-mouthing you, Rocky.
Right. I don't even want to tangent too much, but for anyone out there, you have to hear this. If you're a Dwayne Johnson fan.
What are you doing?
The app is loading. It's taking more.
The Rock clock.
The Rock clock.
You actually have an app called the Rock clock.
It's my new alarm.
God damn it.
Anyway, it's taking longer than I expected, guys. We're gonna have to move on. Right.
Now The Rock says, "Wait. Play your Rock clock. Come on. What is this?
Where's the wait?
That's it, AJ. Yeah. Are you serious? That wakes you up. Yeah. I would throw my phone across the room so fast and go, "Shut your goddamn mouth."
That's why it's the Rock clock, because you want to slap the Rock, which I would never do. Anyway, moving on. Right, so that's there. Now, I know this is a punt. It's because of my relatability to it. I know this is a punt. But in the 5th position for myself, Midlife.
Oh, punting.
Okay, right. Okay, where are we at for you?
I'm at my number 2 and 1, dude.
Okay, so that was my number 5. Number 4, you brought it up. Was it your number 8? Batman.
My number 7, yeah.
Okay, right, guys. I'm sorry. It's the bat freak in me that would not allow me to do anything. We have to look at this in DC. No matter which way you look at it, DC have the 2 biggest names in comic book. In pop culture, Batman and Superman.
Anyone wants to take a fucking Pepsi challenge with that, bring it.
And to be honest with you, I've always been more Batman than Superman. The Superman
think most
film,
people would be.
Well, people love the Christopher Reeve classics and that, but then that's where you have to stop.
I think Henry Cavill is Superman.
Cavill is my guy. But that's the thing. It's how good the films will be. Brandon Routh, go back to being the Atom.
He didn't look bad.
He didn't look bad. The film was terrible.
Not his fault.
It bored me. I'm sorry, but
that's not Brandon Routh's fault.
It's not his fault. But I'm just saying, when we look at
and you know who directed that?
Shoot.
Bryan Singer.
Yes.
X-Men's Bryan Singer.
It was indeed, yeah. Just a memory lapse there.
Stick to the X team.
Indeed. Yeah, because you've done bloody well with it, mate. Congratulations. Batman has been consistent. Look, Keaton, Kilmer, and your favourite.
Keaton, Kilmer, Clooney.
No, I was leaving him out.
No, here. Because I want to build on this, right? When we talk about Batman, and who did the voice of the Batman in the cartoon? Come on. Why are we blanking here? Because I count that too. This is a franchise.
Okay, yes. This is what I was going to bring in, the animated.
Definitely you bring in the animated, because I think the second best of all the Batman movies is an animated one.
His name needs to be brought up. I can't believe it. I've actually got the Superman character, guys.
Listen, Batman has. When you talk about the Batman franchise, you mentioned the DC animated world earlier, yeah?
Yeah.
You have what you would call, the closer to comic book Batmans, that the Tim Burton...
Kevin Conroy, sorry.
It
Didn't even come up on Google.
The
That was
Joel
me.
Schumacher and the Tim Burton era had, which was close to comic books. They changed their actors. Michael Keaton, Val Kilmer, George Clooney. Hey, you got to throw him in there.
He was going for the good. Yeah, he was. Yeah.
Fucking terrible movie, though.
Yeah, it's the movie.
I'm glad you agree with me, Robin. Now, we also go on
This
to
guy's looking for us, I swear down.
Now we also go to the Christopher Nolan epic trilogy with still to this day what I think to be the finest acting performance ever in The Joker.
Yes,
Do I think he's the best actor ever?
No.
Far from it. But I've never seen a performance like that. He was on drugs, he was killing himself. Blah, blah, blah. Don't care. What I saw on screen was the best display of acting. It wasn't acting. Shut up. It was acting.
Yeah, so I want to also throw in Affleck. I don't believe I was going to stop at Bell. Affleck done really
was
well.
A good fucking Batman.
Yeah.
Absolutely. Definitely. But I wouldn't mention him as part of the Batman franchise yet.
Yeah, it's to come. It's to come.
But definitely Batfleck. He was awesome. He was a great Batman. It was one of the few good things about that movie. But don't fucking forget the animated Batman. Because the second best of all the Batman movies is an animated movie.
Even the animated series stands out as one of the best animated...
movie franchise?
Yeah. But I just have to throw it out for the friend. And pop culture, no matter which...
Because otherwise, if we're talking Star Wars, I'm throwing Star Wars Rebels in there.
Yeah. All right. We won't do that. But Batman is an iconic figure. You can see that logo. Okay, right. I'm going to throw this out. Last week, I went to the Andy Black concert. Andy Black is a massive Batman fan.
Oh.
No, he's white, he's rock. Not that black guys can't do rock. Living colour, shout out to you guys. But right, just going back to it. Fans are tattooing Batman logos on themselves because Andy Black is a massive Batman fan. Right? Batman is a world-renowned... I don't think anyone would know how to get an Iron Man logo. But Batman stands out, and with no short part of the films.
Batman and Spider-Man have got the best logos. They're the biggest movies, blah, blah, blah.
And Batman dominates. To me, in terms of any superhero movie,
yes,
that would be the one I was going to throw out. And that's why I had to...
still say Avengers is the best of the superhero movies ever made.
Solo,
yeah.
So that's why
The Dark Knight's fucking work of art.
Yeah.
But the second best is not The Dark Knight Rises, it is the animated Dark Knight Returns. God, what a movie.
Yeah, and that's the thing. Batman has traveled. It's a thing that not many have done, whether it be animated.
So many people get fucking alienated by anime now. It's stupid.
It's sad.
It's like, oh, I don't want to watch it. It's an animation. It's like, okay, so you'll watch a live action Jungle Book movie and rave about it, even though it's based off of a fucking, not kids cartoon, I'm not that ignorant. It's based off of a book which became a kids cartoon, and that's what fucking popularized it. Let's call it a spade. You're gonna watch that, but because Batman, one of the most iconic figures ever, is an animated movie, you're gonna be so close-minded. Oh, I'm not gonna watch it. It's an animated movie.
Yeah,
fucking idiot.
Yeah, everyone ran to go and see Final Fantasy, and what did that do for your life? That's enough I'm gonna say.
But on this note, right, about the animations, we talk about franchises. I wanted to throw Studio Ghibli in there. What up to all the people who fucking know what the hell I'm talking about? Studio Ghibli is the biggest animation franchise in the world. It's from the land of the rising sun, Japan. It's got some of the deepest, most heartbreaking movies I've ever seen. I'm not talking the ones that we know, like Howl's Moving Castle and Spirited Away. Go deep. Go Grave of the Fireflies. You guys in the West probably don't even know what I'm talking about here.
I don't.
Straight up. And it's fucking tragedy, right? They're hard to find here, I'll give you that. But how many of you have actually made the effort to look for Studio Ghibli movies?
Are they linked though?
No.
Because technically, even with I nearly went Pixar, but I was like, no, keep it to Toy Story, you know?
Fair point. If we're talking franchises, that's
franchise.
That's why I didn't throw Ghibli in there, but I wanted to bring Ghibli in because it will never get enough time on the Silver Screen Show. One, no disrespect, but you haven't seen
I'm not
it,
familiar with
and two, because most people out there haven't seen it.
No,
Ghibli will not get enough airtime on this podcast or on our channel, and it's a fucking travesty. It's amazing stuff. You and me need to sit down once and watch Grave of the Fireflies.
We can do this. We can do that.
Because I tell you, I've never seen a movie that... it'll be the third time I watch it, and it will be the last time I watch it. Because I told myself after the first time watching it, the best movie you only ever need to see once.
Sure.
Then I watched it with my girlfriend. What up, baby? And we both looked at each other. I knew what was coming, and it still made me sick to my stomach. I was like, oh God, this fucking movie is so heartbreaking. And it's an animation!
No, we could do that. It's the way it goes. Right, number 3. We talked Star Wars already, haven't we?
Oh yeah.
Okay, so
you're number 2.
You're number 2, no?
My number 2.
James Bond. Guys, I know so many of you are going to think, you arsehole, how could it be your number 8?
Well, you want to talk about franchise? This is the definition of a franchise. 25 movies. That's a franchise.
Yeah.
That's bigger than anything. Marvel kissed my ass.
Yeah.
You know, Marvel changed the world in the sense that it took 4 individual superheroes and brought them all in a culminating movie.
Slow down. Huh? We could talk about it in a bit.
Are we getting onto that?
Yeah.
We're getting onto that.
Right.
All right.
Right.
Bond is Bond. Bond created the franchise. Star Wars was not a franchise. Star Wars affected our pop culture more than anything, but it was a trilogy.
Then George Lucas got kind of greedy and wanted to make the prequels. And
Yeah.
Then he was stupid and sold it for only $4 billion.
Oh yeah.
For all that greed of making the prequels, and then he sells it for $4 billion. Anyway, George, you're an idiot. I love you. We can never thank you enough for giving us that world. But $4 billion? Are you high? I mean, what's wrong with you? But Bond is the biggest in terms of its scope, its size, in terms of its durability, also nostalgia. GoldenEye's 20 years old. Nostalgia, coolness. Nothing beats James Bond when it comes to cool. The man who can roll in a gizmo-powered Aston Martin, shag the casino owner's daughter, shoot him with a golden gun to the head. Yes, I know it was the man with a golden gun and he's a villain. I'm using Bond analogies. Sue me. Shoot someone with a golden gun, laser watch, jetpack, flip the car, and ride into the sunset drinking a vodka martini. You want to talk cool? Bond is the motherfucking king of cool.
Break it down like that, I feel really bad for putting it where it was.
And earnings.
Earnings are always going to be massive. I could tweet right now that a Bond movie's coming out. It's going to get sold out in pre-bookings, right? That's just how big it is without any casting. You know. Yes, we've had bad Bonds along the way.
Outweighed by the amount of good ones.
I know for sure. My relation with Bond has been in and out. When you talk technology, even Austin Powers in the spoof that it was, you know, it's created enough in pop culture. We're always going to recognise it, and for that, I would always respect it. It's just a difficult one for me. I don't know where to really... It's really hard in breaking it down why it's so... I just relate to other movies more. And it's based on relation.
Yeah.
It's weird because Star Wars I gave more credit and I relate to Bond more. I relate to Bond more than I do Star Wars. But I recognise the friend... You will relate... We know special agents, but you could dispute special agents. We know a lightsaber. You can see a gun, it doesn't relate to Bond. You see a lightsaber, it relates to Star Wars. And that's why stuff...
You see a man in a suit with a gun, it's Bond.
True. Bond deserves a lot more respect.
You see an Aston Martin, it's Bond.
Bond deserves a bit more respect.
You see a Rolex watch, it's Bond.
Yeah, okay. It deserves more respect than I gave it, but I don't dispute putting it...
I do. I have issues with you putting it that low
compared to where I had it.
In terms of again, go through the criteria that we have again for this. Do
you know what? Going through it, I think it was more in a personal relation because when I bring up my number 2,
technical artistic merit, tick. Franchise earnings,
massive.
Tick. How consistently good they are, tick. There's 25 movies. There's 4, maybe 5 bad ones. So consistency, 4 out of 5 are good. That's consistent. Achievements. Most iconic spy of all time.
Soundtracks.
Multiple awards. Soundtracks, one of the best themes. Yeah, there you go. I was talking Mission Impossible earlier. This is the one that beats it.
Yeah.
You want to talk soundtracks? Coolness, check. Nostalgia, check. This one ticks all the boxes.
Granted. Probably undeserving where I put it, but anyway, we'll come back to that. Yes, alright. But I can admit it now. This guy actually fought for Mario to be like the best sequel that never had. He had to apologise. I'm not going to bury him any further.
Listen to the last podcast. I apologised.
Yeah,
it's over. Moving on.
Number 2. I'm guessing it obviously didn't make your list. This was the franchise of our era in our teens. It was groundbreaking for cinema. I'm just going to bring it up. I can't prolong it anymore in the hinting. The Matrix. Now the thing is, you have to take it for what it was. The 2. I'd even go 3 being the worst I've ever seen in my life. But take the Matrix for what it was.
No. I'm saying you put that as high as number 2 on your list
based on the impact it had.
Fuck, dude.
Based on the impact it had. That's what I'm looking back now. Okay. And when I look at nostalgia and what have you,
you need to switch Matrix and Bond up, boy.
Probably, it would probably happen. But I would look at the technology, the artistic form. Alright.
Technical merit, nothing touches The Matrix in technical
Yeah.
merit and what it did for cinema. Bullet time changed the world.
Right.
Yeah. No disputing.
Alright, Scary Movie's a bit ages itself, so when we talk about like the nostalgia to it,
No, artistic merit, it was incredible.
artistic,
The Matrix was
artistic, yeah. I'm
freaking
just talking. I'm
incredible.
talking like on the nostalgia point.
Franchise earnings? It didn't. It was the second one was a huge success because you're only as good as your previous outing. The first one, remember, wasn't a big success. It
We had
became
to,
much
but
very cult.
everyone knew we had to see the third. We had to finish the story, irrelevant of how bad we hated it. It's like a Star Wars prequel.
Which brings me on to my next point: how consistently good they are. This one's only had 3 movies.
Yeah.
One of them was beyond question a terrible movie.
When I break
Two
it
of
down,
them has some redeeming features. There's only one good movie
I took the
here.
technical aspect of it.
A little bit too far.
Yeah, and with that and the breakdown of Bond, I probably would make a swap. But yeah, anyway, Matrix had to
think so.
Matrix had to make top 10.
Whoa.
There is no spoon.
There is no good movie other than one.
All right, it needed a mention.
It needed a mention.
Okay, right, your number 1 had been punted for.
Had been punted for. Dun, dun, da, da, dun.
Based on the J.R. Tolkien.
Tolkien's Middle Earth.
Yeah.
My God, what a franchise. Now,
Artistically, I will not argue with you in any way, shape, or
I'm not
form.
even going to bring in the fact that it's one of the best book adaptations ever.
Yeah.
Possibly the best book adaptation ever.
Which would then relate to consistency within the films. I'll give you that.
Which would, all 3 of the. Okay, remember I'm talking Tolkien's Middle Earth here, which means I'm talking Lord of the Rings and The Hobbit,
yeah,
right?
That's how
People
I,
like to
That's
hate
why I
on-
called it Middle Earth.
I appreciate that. And people like to hate on The Hobbit. Fuck all of you. There was one movie in The Hobbit which I will be the first to say it left me a bit wanting. I thought that Jackson got lazy in the 3rd movie. I really did.
Do you know what? I think
like
sometimes
the same way
it's
that
difficult to be novel and groundbreaking.
It wasn't that. It was over CGI. The way that in The Lord of the Rings, right? It was. Granted, obviously there was CGI, but there was so much practical effects. He dressed people up like orcs. He put armor on them. They built the armor. They built the swords. They did the makeup. It was a much grander endeavor. Of course, they didn't do every single orc, but when you saw a field of 50 or 60 orcs, those were all people.
Right.
When it went into the thousands, that was obviously CGI doubling up. In the 3rd Hobbit movie, it was like CGI fest. It felt so lazy. However, there are 2 Hobbit movies which are very good. First one, people are going to say, "Oh, it wasn't what I was expecting." Yeah, because you were so fucking high after the Return of the King and the Lord of the Rings trilogy. Sure, read the book. That first Hobbit movie is such a faithful adaptation of the beginning of that book. It's beautiful. Far over the misty mountains cold. It was beautiful. The second movie, worth seeing alone for the dragon.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Don't touch that. And the original 3 movies, do you know why they're my number 1? Because of every single franchise that's been on our list, this is the only one that has swept the Oscars with 12 nominations, 12 awards, and is the only one to win Best Picture. Mic drop.
Mic drop. But this is where I would debate on the issue of preference over statistical. I agree with you. Everything you said is fully worthy. And I know how... If you were someone else, I would have said it was based on stats. Your appreciation of the film and the franchise, I know it's coming from the heart. So the argument doesn't fully stand.
He's known me a long time.
Yeah,
He's known I've read these books long before the movies were ever made.
Here's my question, right?
Uh-huh.
I'm looking at you here. Do you know Legolas? Yes or no? Just quickly.
No.
Do you know The Hobbit?
Yeah.
Okay. In terms of pop culture, I'm not sure how far it expands. I know everyone knows of
Stop.
the Lord of the
Let me
Rings.
stop you there now. Let me stop you there right now. The Tolkien Middle Earth. If you're talking as a movie,
It's
are you talking just as a movie? Because as a work of literary art,
It's world
it
renowned.
smacks anything
it's
on this
world renowned.
list.
Yeah, I'm talking movie. We're talking movie.
well, AJ, it's the box office speaks for itself. Every single box is ticked on our criteria. Every single person in the world.
At that time period.
Okay, but now we're talking about nostalgia and time period, coolness and blah 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 blah, right?
Nostalgia with growing.
These movies will forever be great. You can show someone. It's not like, watch our Throwback Thursday. We're not, there's Dragonheart, which came out 20 years ago. That looks like it's aged. these movies, it's like a Jurassic Park. When you go back and watch, especially The Lord of the Rings, they ain't aged. They have not aged. Because it was all practical above everything, right?
Yeah.
And those movies are transgenerational. You can make any generation of kids watch them. Your little man right here, if you're 9, yeah? About to turn 9. I'm not sure he's quite old. I mean, rating-wise, he's old enough, but it's a pretty violent movie.
Do you know Gandalf?
Gandalf, yeah.
Okay.
Okay,
You know,
it
no.
permeates into a 9-year-old. We've got
Yeah.
living proof right here. All I'm saying is that these movies, nothing has had more of just a culmination of perfection in terms of being a franchise. There was only one, and I wouldn't even go so far as to call The Hobbit 3 a bad movie. It was the same problem as I had with Captain America Civil War. I had such high hopes for it, and it let me down, and it was glaringly obvious where it let me down.
Yeah.
But again, I hate to do this again, guys, but we're going to go through the statistics again. Yeah? You want to talk coolness and nostalgia. This movie is ultimately cool, and it will forever be nostalgic for me, and I think for a lot of people who've read the books. Achievements? Only one to win an Oscar for Best Picture, and only one to be nominated for 12 Oscars and win all 12. How consistently good they are? They're all good. Third let me down, third let a lot of people down, and the haters are going to hate.
You're going to get let down.
Haters are going to hate anyway, right?
You can't have a full clean
How
sheet.
consistently good are they? Well, this is pretty clean. This is pretty damn as clean as it gets. Second only, I think, to Toy Story. There's pretty much not a bad one here. Franchise earnings, it's all relative. If you were to take the earnings of The Lord of the Rings from 10 years ago and put it now, it's in the billions. And if you want to talk technical and artistic merit, nothing touches it. Nothing touches
You're
it.
not going to beat that. You're not going to beat that. Okay, right. I'm going to bring my... we've done my number 2, which is probably my number 8 now in Bond. just capture that quickly. You brought it up previously. It's more me. I'm still going to prove a slight comic book geekness, and it's Bond
your
is
number one?
consistent. Yeah, I have to
you've
bring the
gone for it, huh?
Marvel Cinematic Universe.
You went for it at number 1.
I have to, for the fact that, all right, Bond through its time we will have. All right, what was the gap between GoldenEye and the film before that?
GoldenEye and License to Kill. GoldenEye came out, 20 years ago now, so it came out in 96. I believe License to Kill came out in 93.
Yeah, shorter than I thought. For some reason I thought it was like... This has been a consistent, dominant factor near enough year in, year out. The fact that the Marvel Cinematic Universe has just joined... It was a different way of building a franchise.
Yeah.
That we were familiar with it to a degree, but it's now the blueprint to create.
Yes.
It's now the blueprint to create franchise. A franchise now becomes a cinematic universe. That's the new term.
Yeah, absolutely. And I'll even go as far as to say that my whole thinking in why we came about with this list, Marvel was the first one that came to my mind.
Yeah,
absolutely.
And I just have to respect the fact that you can bring this hero, that hero, and you can bring each one. For, as I said, DC, you guys dropped the ball. I want to go back as far as Batman Forever, where you guys, this is why Superman works alone. That was the blueprint. It was heading that way. And you guys just dropped the ball and screwed up. And Marvel have consistently delivered a film that everyone appreciates. Even to the fact that people didn't know Guardians of the Galaxy was going to be linked with it. And you can't wait to see how the Guardians are going to meet up with the Avengers.
If they meet, that's still not confirmed.
No, I think I've seen it today, to be honest with you.
Oh, really?
I hope it's not a rumour, but Infinity Wars, apparently the Guardians are
They'll
going to
come
be...
in part 2. There should be part 2.
I just said Infinity Wars. They didn't mention a
Spoiler
number.
in the comic books, and this is not a spoiler for the movies. You know why? Because I haven't read the script and I don't know what they're doing in the movies. So if you want to call it's a spoiler. No, it's not. Read comics. It's out there. This is not a movie
It's
spoiler.
archived spoiler review.
Drax is technically the one who will end Thanos.
Yeah, which I'm familiar with that as well. It's not hard to look into, guys. I look at the consistency, and it's changed the face of the earth. And no matter which way you look at it, the pop culture behind it is phenomenal. The fact that these were the secondary superstars, as much as you can debate Marvel, DC, Batman and Superman were the names that always stuck out in film.
Fuck Batman v Superman. Stick on Marvel.
No, Batman and Superman.
Yeah. But we're talking
I'm
MCU.
talking Marvel in the sense that all of those names became prominent to the world now.
Oh,
that's the sense
we're
of bringing
talking
up,
achievement. Yeah. But I'm talking about what they did as a franchise was incredible.
The franchise is amazing.
It's not how consistently good the movies are. Pretty consistent. Like, I can't think of one that's actually bad.
Captain America.
I didn't like it.
That's me. That's what I'm
It's
saying.
got people that love it.
Okay,
a lot of
fair
people hate on Iron Man 2. I rewatched it the other night. Didn't bother me.
It's mediocre, yeah, but it's
Didn't
not
bother
bad.
me.
It's not bad. It was medium. Yeah, and that's what I look at. And okay, nostalgia. When you look at how far back it's gone, they're approaching the 10-year mark. Am I not? Yeah.
Crazy, isn't it?
And it's mad, and it's continuing. And it's an ongoing story. And to think that we've had an ongoing story for 10 years plus.
Yeah, it's
deserves the
mad, and
credit.
it's going to keep going for
Yeah.
another 5 years, you
And
know?
that is why I give it the credit. It's got Bond is similar. Don't get me wrong. You've got a consistent villain in there.
But it's 3 years apart. We're getting two Marvel movies every single year, basically.
and
it's insane.
But I'm just talking about the consistency of the story. To think that Iron Man 1 has built into
Not only consistency, but regularity. That's what I find so
it's
amazing. The
consistent and
speed at which
regular.
they're churning out these movies, and genuinely good movies. It deserves applause, the MCU.
And that, you've nailed it on the head. Okay, nostalgia's not. It will last the test of time.
This is for like your generation, young man. This is basically his Star Wars.
Yeah.
This is his Star
this
Wars.
is-
You know,
this
the way
is-
that
this is.
I grew up loving Star Wars. You live long and suck it. But you know, the way that you
If I have shoot to kill, that is not shoot to stun. Come on. But anyway, yeah.
yeah, no, that is Star Wars. You know, Harry Potter came before that.
Yeah.
But this is
But even Potter, we knew it was going to come to an end based on what
Yeah.
JK had done. Comics are always going to go
New
forever.
book coming
and-
out any minute.
Yeah, but this is consistent.
You know they're
Alright.
going to make a movie of that new book.
Of
You just
course-
know
of course
they
will. Of course they will. I mean, we've got Fantastic Beasts to keep us appeased,
Yeah.
between that. But the Marvel, as you said, consistent,
Fantastic
regular.
Beasts movies.
There you go. There's enough.
Franchise.
Yeah, there we go. Yet to be seen. I'm actually really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah, me too. Check out AJ's trailer reaction on the YouTube channel.
Thank you
It's
very
good.
much. Thank you. Yeah, and we're there. I think Marvel have done really well. And
Although there's a Potter fan on the YouTube channel schooling you.
I'm yet to read that. But
It's not mean,
No.
but she's like, when you're asking questions, what does that mean? What does that mean? She's like, this means that, that means that, that means that.
Thank you.
That was my reaction. I was like, well, good to know. I didn't know that.
Thank you. It was literally thank you. I put it out there, guys. That's what I don't profess to know it all. So, like, thank you guys for that. But
This is a
Marvel-
tough one, though, now, in
Marvel
terms of...
have really done it for me.
They have.
15 years. Let's call it
I think
15
they've
years.
redeveloped what the franchise can be. Bond's kept it going longer than any. Lord of the Rings, I think, was pretty much the epitome of perfection. James Bond, longevity, I'll get the word out. But, I mean, Marvel just... They've changed what a franchise can be, and they've really changed cinema to the degree where, as I was saying at the beginning, it's because of Marvel, for the good and bad, that now you get a franchise, and you get a franchise, and franchises all round. I mean,
You know,
it's because
if,
of Marvel.
If we have to give Marvel respect, all right, it's a divided industry, right? In terms of cinema. But the key part is, Marvel started late when you look at it in the film world. And to take over the way they have, hats off to you.
Yeah.
So,
well, hats off to them. You don't discount the power of Robert Downey Jr. in all this. I really put so much credit on him alone, because if that Iron Man movie fails, there is no MCU. There really isn't. It's not like if Iron Man failed, they would have been like, oh, let's give Thor a try. Hell no. They wouldn't have happened. I know they were all ready to go. They were in production, but it would not have happened.
Saying that, had we gone chronologically, and I'm talking comic book wise, and it's hard to say this because I really didn't enjoy the film. Let's say we had started with Captain America and Iron Man came along, it still would have developed.
No, I don't think so. I think there was a reason that they were starting with Iron Man, and there was a reason that they were starting with Iron Man starring Robert Downey Jr. They were taking a gamble, much like Tarantino did with Travolta in Pulp Fiction. It was a gamble. Travolta had his renaissance with Pulp Fiction. Downey Jr., recovering from heroin, alcoholism, he had his renaissance with Iron Man. He was already a world-class actor. There's no doubt about that. Go back to Chaplin. Go back to Kiss Kiss Bang Bang. The guy was a genius. But he has had a proper renaissance because of Marvel.
Can I just throw something in?
In turn, I think, helped Marvel get to where they are.
What I'd like to just throw in there, as you mentioned Tarantino. Did you know, pop quiz, Tarantino is actually a shared universe in itself?
Yes.
Yeah.
The Vega brothers, right? Yeah.
Okay, great. Just thought I'd put that. Well, I knew Nick probably knew it, but I thought I'd let you guys know that as well. Okay.
I just throw it out there for those who don't know what AJ is talking about. We're not talking modern Tarantino, we're talking old school. What I call the classic, and what I love about Tarantino when he's doing his gangster stuff. Reservoir Dogs and Pulp Fiction are actually one of the same. They're part of the same universe. Vic Vega, played by Michael Madsen in Reservoir Dogs, brother to Vincent Vega, of John Travolta's character in Pulp Fiction.
Yeah.
Tarantino actually had an idea in his mind to make a movie called The Vega Brothers.
And what's even more interesting, you can actually link. I think he's actually split his universe into two. So you know, like Jackie Brown,
Yeah.
where people come out of the cinema. So you've got the cinematic world that they watch,
Yeah.
and then it was actually really well done. It's a pity he didn't expand on it.
Yeah.
And I don't want to say it sounds bad, but especially after your Hateful Eight review, the Tarantino magic is fading. I think it's.
I don't discount him yet, but I don't
him.
know what his obsession is at the moment with the West and with history. It's like it's not what he's good at. Yes, that Christopher Waltz dialogue at the beginning of The Hateful Eight was amazing. The one about the scroll and the rat. Yeah, incredible. Blah 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 blah. Do I put Inglourious Bastards, Django, which I enjoyed much more upon second watching, Django Unchained, which I really enjoyed from the get-go, really enjoyed, and Hateful Eight, which I hated. Do I put them on par with like a Kill Bill, Jackie Brown, Pulp Fiction, Reservoir Dogs? And I'm not even mentioning the ones that he wrote and didn't direct. True Romance, Natural Born Killers. No, they don't. They're not even in the same class.
Yeah.
It's different fucking quality.
Yeah, for real. Cargo, Eddie. Yeah, he's exploring. Maybe he doesn't want to.
Yeah, but stop exploring at my expense.
This is it.
Spoke the man who doesn't make movies. Haters gonna hate, right?
Okay.
Now we need to do the Rushmore,
It's movie Mount Rushmore time.
where the Silver Screen dudes argue about our top 10 list, and we combine our top 10 lists to make the 4 franchises. For this week, it's the 4 franchises that you must watch, enjoy,
Right.
rewatch, share, and tell everyone about.
I'm gonna throw this for the fact of what it was. Right. From franchise to cinematic universe, I believe my number one definitely deserves a spot.
Yes, for sure.
Okay.
100%.
We
I've-
can't dispute anything that you said regarding your number one either.
No, sure.
And guys, to be honest, I don't want to. I'm going to throw a spoiler out there. Just like the war was back in the day when they both were released, it's either Potter or Lord of the Rings, and Lord of the Rings has won it. So with that, yeah, don't expect to see.
It wasn't a war. There was no war.
There was a preference. It was like this, and that's that.
The fact that people even thought there was a similarity between the two, it was because they're both fantasy. Is like
It's
great, yeah.
mystical,
And
Dobby,
Goodfellas and Pulp Fiction are both gangster movies. Awesome.
Yeah, it was
Whatever.
It's the timing. It's the timing behind it. I think it's really.
Yeah, Lord of the Rings is in there, Marvel's in there. I've got an idea what I want for the other two, and based on what we've talked about, I'd be surprised if we disagree.
Consistently, Bond has to
Yep.
go in there.
Bond's there.
What was your number 4?
Star Wars. I don't know what else you'd put in there. Let me put it this way. I don't know what you could take I don't know what could replace Star Wars. If you were to take Star Wars out, you would have to have a damn good fucking suggestion of what to put in instead. As something that's affected pop culture more.
No, this is the problem. Because the argument will stand of consistently good.
It's not the only factor.
No. Because, and I'm not saying it's worthy. I'm just throwing a spanner in the works here. And it's nothing to say it would ever be in my favourite list of okay, right.
Throw it out.
We could potentially go down the route of Toy Story. Potentially. Another one I was going to look at, even though I gave up later on and you joined on further, there is the Fast franchise.
No, hell no.
I don't appreciate it. But I'm looking at, if you look at a consistently appreciated film, which will have a nostalgia.
None of the best Fast Furious movies compared to the best Star Wars movies.
I agree with.
Are you playing devil's advocate?
I'm looking at franchise.
Yeah, Star Wars.
I'm looking at franchise. If you was to say, right, let's take how many Star Wars movies to how many. Yeah, they're both at what, 7 each?
7, yeah.
Yeah, they're 7 each. People will say they consistently enjoyed 7 Fast movies over. They will say, right, 2 to 3 Star Wars movies. I'm just looking at it on that point. When you look at nostalgia and everything
3
else.
to 4 Star Wars movies.
Right. Each person has their own preference. I just threw numbers out there. Based on that. Toy Story has not gone bad. I'm not knocking Star Wars for anything.
I can't. If the Rushmore is about recommending the 4 franchises that cover. I'll go through the criteria again. That cover. Toy Story covers a lot of them, but cover technical and artistic merit.
Toy Story.
Star Wars also.
Yeah.
Franchise earnings. Let's not even get into that.
But this is
that.
why I had to throw the argument before of what franchise earnings because then when you get statistical, then preference doesn't come into it. But all right,
No, but that's one element.
Star Wars will trump it. Not saying that
Star Wars will trump anything, which is why it's deserving of being
Right.
in there. How consistently good they are, Toy Story. I'll give you that one.
Right. So so now we're now at 2 each.
2 to 1.
Where? Both of
Technical
them,
and artistic merit. They've
they
each
both
got
had, yeah?
Okay, how consistently good they are.
Toy Story.
Franchise earnings. Star Wars. Okay, 2-2. My bad. Achievements.
Robin. Batman can count. That's why he's a millionaire. Billionaire. Right, keep going.
Silver spoon, bitch.
At least you acknowledge who I am.
Achievements. Star Wars.
Go.
I can even break down achievements. Not only
No, go.
Oscars,
Just
but
go,
I can
just go.
coolness.
Which is more cool, Star Wars or Toy Story? Just pick. Just
That's
pick.
not fair.
Star Wars.
You.
No.
Go to bed, guys. We're filming. I've got my nephew. He's going to bed. All right, Star Wars it is.
Nice
Star
one,
Wars it
dude.
is.
All right, so we got them.
Right, we'll go.
Ladies and gentlemen, the official movie Mount Rushmore of the Silver Screen Dudes, as voted for by the Silver Screen Dudes.
And my nephew.
The 4 biggest and our favorite franchises, the franchises we respect the most, and the 4 that we believe define what a franchise is, and the 4 that, hell, you need to go and see every single one of these movies for the good, the bad, and the downright Jar Jar Binks ugly.
Indeed.
All right, in no particular order. Our first entry is...
The Marvel Cinematic Universe.
I love the way you put that in at number 1, bitch. I'll say again, in no particular order. There was no particular order. Our second entry is...
The Precious Middle Earth.
Stop.
Okay, go on, Mr. Gollum, go.
The precious, the Middle Earth loves it. Lord of the Rings, yes, Lord of the Rings, Andy Serkis is in there, did you know?
Anyone who thinks he sounds like a freaky pervert, please don't sign up and tell us that.
Do you want to see our preciouses?
Right, okay, number 3.
Our third entry,
Our third entry is...
Shaken, not stirred, Mr. Bond.
Absolutely. Longest franchise running. And our... our final entry is...
Star Wars. Okay, guys, right. I'm going to throw a couple of honourables out
Rushmore
there.
was easier than I thought. It had to be.
They're too big. They're too big.
They are
They're
too
too
big.
big. And I think that's why I threw a few out there. Okay, you had Indiana Jones out there. I do want to put Jurassic Park in there.
Yeah, Jurassic Park was
oh,
there.
yes, it was in your...
Yeah, it was there. But
Planet
I
of
mean,
the
the
Apes.
first one... Ooh.
Planet of the Apes.
Ooh.
There was...
Old ones, you mean, yeah?
The old one...
No, I love the new ones. I fucking love the new ones. I'm not
and
a
there's
hater
more
of the
to
new
come.
ones.
There's more to come, you know?
They're brilliant movies.
Yeah. So Planet of the
But
Apes...
they're not iconic the way that the old ones are. They're not.
Do you know... Yeah, sorry. Yeah. But again, if we're talking franchise...
They're better.
I
actually think they're better.
But do you
they're
know
not-
what?
they don't
Let's
have
take
that-
it franchise for franchise, just like Batman. It's the franchise of Planet of the Apes. No matter which way, old or new, it's
Yeah,
a franchise.
fair enough.
And you can actually buy a box set, which I've been trying to do. You can actually create a timeline with all the movies.
Oh, is
old
it?
and new. It's yeah, obviously you're gonna find plot holes. X-Men has them as well, so yes, it's forgivable.
No franchise has more plot holes than X-Men.
Yeah, right. Planet of the Apes. Shrek.
Shrek was
is
in there.
worthy.
Yeah, I was hesitating there.
Terminator.
No.
Pop cult. It wouldn't make it. It's an honourable mention for what it was. And then I have to put the other actions in there: Rocky, Rambo, and Die Hard.
Rocky, fuck.
Rocky was big, but let's look at the
Rocky.
list that was there. Rocky's big. You know, we've expanded into
I
Creed.
see on your list. I would have taken Fast out and put Rocky in there. I really would.
I probably would have taken Matrix out and put Rocky
Yeah,
in.
definitely, absolutely.
But
let me just review my list again.
But if you look at it,
Rocky. You know what?
artistic.
I'm redoing my list. Spider-Man's out. Rocky's in.
Okay, I'll give you that.
Rocky's my number 10 entry.
Yeah,
Definitely. Definitely.
There's a lot of artistic in Spider-Man though, but I'll give you.
Rocky.
Yeah, I had to do that, and I had to give it its honourable, and you know.
No, respect for doing that.
Yeah,
Yeah,
and
definitely. My list is changing. Number 10, Rocky.
all right, and guys, it didn't even cross my mind, but I know some of you guys are going to be out there, the real 80s nostalgia fans. Yeah, take the Expendables as well, but it's not anything massive.
no.
But it's a franchise that I respect. I'll give
You're
it
not
a
throwing
respect.
American Pie out there? That's one of yours.
Yeah, American Pie was my number 1 in something last week. It doesn't even make. Yeah, it's an honourable. You
Yeah.
know, but how many honourables can I mention? Yeah,
I
American
went for
Pie.
16 last week.
yeah, true. There's that. Yeah. you could go on, couldn't you? Beverly Hills, Cop.
There's a lot of franchises.
Yeah, there's a lot of franchises.
That's what
those were the definitive. Yeah, on top of those ones that I done, have to throw American Pie in there because that done a lot for pop culture.
MILF.
Exactly, it's a word. We created it. Wow. Where was I? Yeah, token black guy. Right. Yeah. American Pie was definitely pop culture turned, and it created a word. So yes, you're definitely in there for franchise. So yeah, guys, that was it. Please do download this, spread the word, share to your friends. Again, if you're on YouTube, just click the link and download, share the word. It's free, for God's sakes.
If you're on iTunes, guys, here's what I need you to do. I've seen one person leave a 5-star review for us now. Big up. You didn't leave a name, but thank you for the 5-star review. And it was a really, really nice comment. I need everyone to jump on that bandwagon, guys. We are growing. We've only been doing this now a month and a half, but we've tripled our viewing already.
Yeah.
Now that can be sounding like I'm twisting numbers. That's because it is, because they're still new.
No, but yeah.
But our numbers are growing at a very good rate. But we need you guys to keep listening. We need you guys to keep sharing. On iTunes, download, as AJ said. Please subscribe to us on iTunes. That way you don't need to keep logging in and seeing if the new episode's out. You will get the podcast straight to all your devices automatically. For those of you on Android, I promise you, I'm working on it. The Android devices, it's coming. We're working on it. We're not, we are technical, but we're not that technical.
It's coming.
I'm an Apple boy. I'm working on it. But yeah, subscribe to us on iTunes. Please, above everything, leave a review and leave a star rating. That would be awesome and very much appreciated. And it's free, guys. Fucking just download us. You're not losing anything.
While we're on the level of subscription, guys, we are not just audio, we are highly visual as well, Monday through Saturday. So please do check out our YouTube page if this is the first time you're hearing from the
we are growing, baby.
We're doing this, and guys, do you know what? It's like the Jerry Springer. What was it? He's Jerry's thoughts at the end. Guys, I'm going to get sentimental here. This was a project. This was a project that came about, and yes, we have intentions for it, but the growth has been phenomenal. We have had support from you guys. The viewing has come, the audio, the listening, everything is there, guys. Thank you. Honestly, thank you. Look, we could be in a studio just talking and just the two of us are downloading it. You guys have proven that numbers are there. You're appreciating what we do. We appreciate you. We're not stuck up arseholes. We may sound it. That's why he's going to be called Robin. I'm going to be called Bat. No, taking the jokes aside, it's because of you guys. And we are going to keep on doing it. The comments, everything that you guys give us, we take on board and we do appreciate it. So thank you from the bottom of my heart, and I'm sure from Nico's heart too.
Oh, hell yeah.
And guys, we're at it. Thank you. And just keep on it. And please do check us out on YouTube. If you've just stumbled upon us on YouTube, check us out on YouTube too.
And our community may be small, guys, but it's growing, and it's growing, as AJ said, because of you. You comment on a video, there is not one comment that goes unanswered. We are interactive with you. You want us to do a certain topic of, be it a video or a podcast, we're all over that. You want to come in studio, if you've got movie knowledge and you think you can not go toe to toe with us, but if you think you can keep up with us, I'm gonna throw it, because I put it this way, there is no toe to toe. We argue every week over a Rushmore, right? Yeah. Everyone has a preference. You're entitled to it. You are more, the doors are open to you guys. If you're in the UK, we will try and arrange a Skype if you're abroad. we will do something, guys. Yeah, thank you. I can't say it enough. But we're ending here. It's basically a big thank you. Keep it coming. Keep the shares coming, which you guys are doing. Keep it growing, guys. If you like what we're doing, you clearly do. Just keep the love flowing.
And guys, if you're not signed up to YouTube, what have you got? Yeah, thank you for viewing. YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. We're there to communicate with you guys there as well. No matter where you are, we endeavour to get back to you guys as much as you want. Again, do you know what? I'm even going to go more personal because we've had people do it. Look for Anthony NTR Jordan. Look for Nico Lurot, right, on Facebook. We will interact with you guys as much as we can, because that's what we like. It's because of you guys we're still doing this. Thank you.
And if you like reading more, I've just revamped the blog page. Tumblr is now very, very visually friendly. It's pretty. Go check it out.
That's the one. So we're trying to cover as much social networks as possible. Guys, thank you for your time. We don't want to rant because, hey, time is time, so thank you enough for your time.
For an hour.
We have, exactly. So from myself, Anthony Jordan.
And from me, Nico Lurot.
And our special guest, as we said, we do invite special guests. Say your name, son. Nephew. Zane. Right, Zane Rowe, my nephew, my one and only nephew there. Okay, guys, thank you very much, and we will catch you next week, and again, throughout our visual stuff on YouTube.
See ya!
Bye-bye!